Yep.
Number 5, Ansley Simpson. Number 15,
All right.
Riley Farley. And number 23, Sarah Spriggs. Lady Wildcats are
Sounds
coached
good.
by Tim Hathcock. And for the home team, Grace Christian Academy, Lady Cougars. Number 2, Lady Gay. Number 3, Elijah Grace Colby. And number 12, Kara Overman. Number 4, Ava Martin. And number 5, Morgan Baxley. Lady Cougars are coached by Miss Coach Sarah Harrell.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us tonight on the live stream, we are about to begin the matchup between the Crisp Academy Wildcats and your Grace Christian Academy Lady Cougars. Should be getting to the tip-off any second. All right, tip ball took many efforts, but eventually Crisp ended up with the ball and immediately elects to shoot a quick 3. Able to get the rebound, which was a surprisingly soft rebound. Ooh, ball almost stolen away, batted away by Laney Gay, but Crisp regained possession, fired up another shot, again rebounded. Cougars are going to have to get on the boards if they want to have a chance of staying in this game. Third offensive rebound and as many shots down here at this one end, and a foul called. I believe that's on Kara Overman. Wildcats going to be shooting 2 free throws. First free throw, no good. Second free throw attempt is good for number 5. Not a particularly hot start shooting for Crisp, but they have been commanding the boards, very physical gameplay. Immediately go into a full court pressure, trying to keep that physical gameplay going. Cougars are able to get up the floor, but then a turnover in the half-court set leads to a fast break opportunity. Original layup missed, but the follow-up is put back in. Looks like Crisp is in a 2-2-1 full court pressure, generating a turnover there. And another layup, again, no good. You got to feel like if our girls could just get down into the half-court set and get a shot of their own, we might be able to be in this one. Wildcats not shooting particularly well to start off the game. A little bit sloppy pass there by Laney. Against a larger opponent, try to go over the top. It looks like we just need a minute here to wake up and get into the flow of the game. Lady Cougars in a 1-3-1 zone defense, generating a turnover of their own. Laney Gay tried to pass the ball away as she was falling down, but ultimately turned the ball over. But it was returned in kind as number 1 took a little hop step without dribbling and turned it over on a travel. It's going to be coming back our way. Got to defeat this pressure, which is really heavy in the front court with that 2-2-1 pressure. Height advantage on the guard's part in a couple of cases has resulted in tipped balls or stolen passes. Going to have to handle that with care. Laney Gay looking to feed it into the post. Elijah Grace Covey takes a shot, no good. Follow-up attempt by Kara Overman, also no good, but this one is the result of a foul, so she'll be shooting 2. Oh, first shot touches every bit of the rim before deciding it wants to go down. Second shot was no good, but it wouldn't have counted anyway as we had a violation. Somebody stepped into the lane to rebound too early. Number 15 from Crisp is able to knock down a corner three, doubling their point total so far. Scores 6-1. Full court pressure by Crisp results in a Crisp foul. It's going to be Cougar ball on the side, inbounding. Wide open pass to Lainey Gay there. Tries to feed it into Ruth. It's bobbled a little bit, ends back up in the hands of Ava, though, on the outside. Deep two from Morgan is going to go in. 6-3. Girls are able to hang in it. Just need to defend the perimeter and make sure they are getting rebounds. Ooh. Let number 15 get away with another shot there from the opposite corner, but this time it's no good, and we do rebound. Once again, Crisp is very much casual against the inbound, not really defending it, but immediately applying pressure to whoever touches the ball next. A couple of offensive rebounds for the Lady Cougars in a row. Morgan gets one attempt, and a second attempt, no good. Crisp able to control the rebound and push up the tempo the other direction. Wide open post player trailing for Crisp will get the easy 2 points. Good shot by Kara Overman after defeating the pressure. Cougars are able to get back on the board again with another point. First couple of seconds seemed to be all Crisp, but it seems like the girls are waking up now. Tipped out of bounds on Kara Overman, going to remain Crisp ball down at this end. They're going to be looking for a screen to the corner and under the basket. Well run inbound play there. It results in the easy 2 points. Pressure easily defeated. However, Ruth was in a hurry to get up that layup with people running right up behind her. She rushed it a little bit. Shot by Crisp, again, no good. Ooh, dangerous pass there, but we are going to be able to keep it going up the field. Excuse me, court. What sport am I even playing? All right, Morgan able to pass off one more time. She looked like she could have had a shot there, but she passed it off to Kara, who got a wide open attempt as a result. Didn't fall, but the tie-up is going to be Cougars ball. Looks like one ref let the play resume before the substitutions had fully done their course, so restarting play yet again. Looks like Crisp is opting for a version of a 2-3 or 2-1-2 when they are in the half-court set. Cougars able to get the ball into Ruth in the post, who was able to draw a foul and go to the free throw line. Both shots are no good from the free throw line, and Crisp controls the rebound, bringing it back the other direction. Wow, dangerous high pass, trying to look for a shooter in the corner by Crisp, way overthrown, going out of bounds into the stands. It's going to be Cougar ball now. Crisp has switched to a very high and extended 1-3-1 defense. Catches Morgan a little bit unawares. She wasn't ready for that one and ends up taking a step going to be a turnover going back the other direction. Cougars are holding their own when they're on defense, just still looking for some success on the offensive end. Deflected out of bounds, going to stay with the Cougars. Once again, easy inbound into the corner. Crisp, yeah, it looks like they're going to have their post player in this 2-3. They're going to run that middle person high and just have them follow Ruth around wherever in the post she goes. Clearly keying in on her, trying to take that away. Shot good, scores 10-7. Lady Cougars are holding their own in this contest. Going to need to get those offensive rebounds, and they finally do. Ooh, had an opportunity to look up, had multiple white shirts ahead of the pack there, but ultimately Ava keeps the ball, dribbles down herself, able to get an easy kind of almost floater in the lane, but it just kind of rattles out. Crisp once again looking to really, really run when they get the opportunity. Looks like number 5's main job there on the offensive contribution side is to just leak out early for the layups. We're fortunate that she's missed her opportunities thus far, but that can't possibly last all game. Cougars are going to have to get back on defense quickly as soon as they turn the ball over. All right, that high 1-3-1 pressure, looking to double team whoever's got the ball. They are using it to trap very effectively, but 1-3-1 does leave the post vulnerable, which that's a gamble. When they're in a half-court set, they seem to be in a 2-3 designed to keep Ruth from touching the ball, but every time they go to a pressure, they run the risk of Ruth getting the ball exactly in the spot that they don't want her to get it in. So Crisp is trying to have their cake and eat it too by running two completely different styles of defense with two completely different ideologies. Ball batted around a lot before landing back into Ava's hand. Cougars control it. Shot clock's not an issue, so they can work it around for the best possible shot. Ava able to get up a shot attempt. Didn't go in, but it was saved. Not for long, though. Ball turned over, and again, Crisp looking to run. Number 1 for the Lady Wildcats is able to score on that one. Very handsy, reaching over the top of that defense. All right. Morgan commits traveling violation again. Ball batted around, going to stay down at this end. Similar inbound to a similarly dangerous position. Crisp isn't able to score and gets a 3-second violation in the paint instead. All right, once again, able to get to the backside of the 1-3-1 half-court trap, just not able to convert and score. Little under 11 seconds to go and only a 4-point deficit. It looks like Crisp will be able to get the final shot of this quarter. Lady Cougars need to make sure and play good defense. Ooh, that was a tough floater going towards the baseline there. Number 5 able to give the Wildcats 2 more points leading into the end of the first quarter. It is 14-8 after 1. Both sides have been feeling each other out and missing their fair share of shots, but it is still anybody's game. Okay, it doesn't indicate a toggle. That's why I was asking. All right, so am I live or in your ears? Okay, I figured I was. I was just double checking because I have no indication on my button. There is a button, I just don't know if it's pressed. All right, looks like it'll be Chris Ball going into the second quarter. They did end the first quarter on a bucket, so they get a chance here to double dip real fast and try to extend a lead that they'd already been building gradually during the first quarter. Lady Cougars, I haven't gotten much of a chance to watch it, but I'm going to go ahead and say that they're in a box and one, trying to prevent number one for Crisp from getting hot and scoring any more points. It was a very casual combination of turnovers there as Laney Gay very slowly throws it to the opponent and she very slowly travels and gives it back. Cougars look to feed the ball into Ruth, who is able to drive baseline and dish it to Ava, who's on the other side waiting for it. Turnover negated by a 3-second violation. Looks like Morgan's persistence on number one pays off as she gets number one to travel, trying to move faster than she could dribble the ball. Good running shot off the glass by Laney. Was a little bit disappointed not to see that one fall because it looked like she had a good angle on it. Gonna stay our ball. Inbounding under the basket is Ava. Definitely looks like we're looking at Ruth as our first option. Unable to get it to her, restarting the offense. Miscommunication there. If Ruth had dropped towards the low block, she would have been able to catch that on the move, which is evidently what Laney was thinking, but Ruth was holding her spot. So it just ended up in a turnover, but it's going to be coming back the other direction as well. Feels like this is going to be a game with a lot of back and forth turnovers. Good move by Ava, spinning to the basket, getting up a good shot, just not able to complete. Kara Overman got the rebound, but then was in a bad position. She lost her balance and was just hanging on for dear life, looking for somebody to pass to. It didn't happen. Ball is turned over, coming back the other direction. Crisp looks like they're going to be putting in their 4 starters to rejoin number one. Without them in the game, it's very easy for the Cougars to simply play denial on number one. There isn't really any other option there for the Wildcats, it appears, as they were struggling to find anybody to pass to. Number one sits out, rest of the starting lineup back in. Hope Cougars are aware of that change and are ready to switch their defense accordingly. Pretty shot by Ava, just rims out again. No matter how good they look, they're just not dropping right now. Ruth reached around to poke the ball out from that pass intended for number 4 in the post for Crisp. She got called for the body contact, though, on a push. Crisp fortunate that that was called a jump ball. Number 23 clearly took steps. It should have been our ball without us having to give up the arrow, but it is our ball either way. I agree with the overall game plan of letting Ruth be the intended recipient of most offensive possessions. However, Crisp is keying in on that, and somebody else is going to have to make a shot in order to relieve a little bit of that congestion in the middle, because they are not giving Ruth anything easy tonight. Lady Cougars sticking with the box and 1, just simply rotating Morgan onto whoever the point guard is. Another deep corner 3, pushing the lead even further for the Wildcats. Looks like it was only put in as a 2. I didn't have the best angle on it, so maybe it was on the line there. All right, quick passes gets the ball into Ruth, where she can turn to the basket without getting mugged by a whole swarm of defenders. She is able to get to the free throw line on that. First one is good. It's the first time we've had points in quite some while. Second one good as well. Looks like Ruth is going to be coming out and getting a little bit of a breather. Lady Cougar is going to have to look for offense from somebody else now for sure. Much smaller lineup on the floor instantly for the Cougars. Going to have to be very, very active and aggressive, filling passing lanes and challenging possessions, especially on dribbles. So far, so good on that count. Crisp is moving around the perimeter, looking desperately to find an opening, and ends up turning the ball over with another travel. All right, back in that high 1-3-1 half-court pressure. Ball was deflected. Ava can pick it up and does. Cougars need to get out of these traps quickly. All right, looks like Grace is going to call a timeout and try to work out exactly what they want to do to handle that high 1-3-1. Everybody plays a 2-3 or some version of box and 1 throughout junior, pro, and middle school, so most girls are prepared for that. But a 1-3-1 is a little bit more advanced. Most people don't start that until at least middle school or high school. So they do need to learn how to handle this, since most of the players playing on the team are relatively inexperienced for us. Crisp very smartly took the opportunity to immediately switch their defense, not allowing for the Cougars to make a plan. Looks like it is a man-to-man defense for Crisp right now. They do have a size advantage, definitely the larger team on the court, but that should inevitably end up with a speed advantage somewhere for the Cougars. One would have to think that number 10, Lindsay, would have a speed advantage on 23. What she gives up in height, she should be able to make up for elsewhere, but Cougars just struggling to make more than 1 or 2 passes without coughing up the ball against this man-to-man defense. Ball fed into the post for the Wildcats, no good. Ava electing to bring the ball up herself since her outlet was cut off. That ball was tipped, going to stay with us. Another substitution coming in for the Lady Cougars. This time it's going to be Valley coming in for Lindsay. Ruth still sitting on the bench. I'm not sure how much rest she's getting. I don't think she had any foul trouble outside of the one foul. I would expect her to come in sometime around the 2-minute mark to finish out the half. We'll see if that's what happens. Don't know if that ball was tipped by Laney or if Laney just startled the shooter enough that it was an air ball. Crisp looking to run. Valley left in a horrible size mismatch there, kind of left with no option but to foul hard enough to deny the basket. She does, but it's going to end up in free throws for number 23. First one good. Second one rattled in as well. Crisp doing a very good job of alternating between multiple defenses, keeping it confusing. Anytime they get the chance to set up a full court pressure, they're in a 2-2-1. In a half court pressure, they're a 1-3-1. And in a fully half court set with no pressure, they're in a version of a 2-3 or a man. The variety is definitely making it difficult for the Lady Cougars to hone in on any one weakness that they can exploit. The advantage of having an older team that's been together longer, you got more options on the table that you can rotate through quickly and expect everybody to be in the right position. Free throws for Valley Faircloth, no good. Ball coming back the other direction now. Miscommunication on behalf of the Lady Cougars. Nobody was home on that near block, and it is a wide open layup. Going to be Chris Ball under the basket. Cougars might want to look into having a different inbound strategy, one that doesn't involve man-to-man. They're screening and rolling to those different low block positions, whatever's closest to the ball, that low block. Somebody is coming off a screen rolling to it. The screens have been effective, so either players need to do a better job of communicating switches, fighting through the screens, or simply switching to a zone to help alleviate that. Inbound into Valley Faircloth, moving up the court nicely. Able to get away from pressure and get the ball to Ava, who makes a good, strong move for the low block. Ended up a little bit too far down, giving herself a very awkward angle, but makes the shot anyway. Looks like the Cougars have switched to a man-to-man defense full-time here, not just on an inbound. Successful to a point, but lack of communication giving the ball back up to the Crisp Wildcats again. It's like nobody switched off there. Fortunate to give out by another travel from number 1. Valley just a little bit too short to go over the top of the defense with that pass. Might be better off faking high and then bouncing the pass low. A little bit surprised that we've gotten to the final seconds and still haven't seen Ruth re-enter the game. Kara Overman made a mistake of trapping herself in the corner, but is able to get it out. A couple of good passes later, we get a wide open shot attempt. No good. Offensive rebound, though, is there. Just going to have to dribble out of that. Is Morgan too small to shoot up in their face? Oh, able to fire off an open shot, though, after she does back out. Just does not fall, a little bit short. I think she was in a bit of a hurry there. Didn't realize how low the clock had gotten until she heard the screams. Lady Cougars going to be going into the halftime down 26-12. Definitely appears that the Achilles heel for Lady Cougars is bad passes, whereas the main weakness for Crisp so far seems to be traveling. One would have to figure that the game gets immediately better for whichever team can control those turnovers. Looks like we have a special cheerleading presentation today. All right, and we're back for the beginning of the second half. Third quarter set to begin. Crisp ball immediately inbounded into the post. Certainly understand the desire to be aggressive down low for the Wildcats there. If they can score points in the paint, great. If they can get Ruth to commit fouls, even better from their perspective. Neither one happened on the first pass, but Cougars turned the ball over, giving the Wildcats another shot at it. Lady Cougars too timid with the rebound attempt there. Everybody getting a hand on it, nobody actually snatching it out of the air. Gonna have to get more physical under the basket on those boards. Ruth does exactly that. Reaches up and actually rips the ball down. But good defense from number 1 causes a turnover as she tries to get it to a post player. Ruth just decides to skip the middleman and dribble up the floor the next trip down. Pass ahead to Laney is good for a layup. Nice quick score for the Cougars. Looked very efficient. Hopefully they can get a few more of those in rapid succession. That would be amazing. Number 1, another steal, but she turns it over herself, looking to immediately capitalize on the turnover. Just gives it right back. Frequently the case in a lot of sports. Ava easily able to out-rebound a much shorter opponent and fire up a couple of shots. Takes a foul on one of them and will be shooting a couple of free throws. Out of bounds, going to be staying Cougar ball. Oop, no, excuse me, crisp ball. All right, once again, looking to loop through and get a couple of open shots under the basket. Didn't happen that time. Much better defended by the Cougars. 23 looking to challenge that. Evidently called that one on Ruth down low. A little bit surprised at the weakness of that call. There's zero chance that that gets called in a boys' game. Both the offensive and defensive player were bodying each other up, but nobody was pushing that I could see. Once again, Ruth taking command of the ball, moving it up the floor, orchestrating passes. Ends up in a turnover, but I like the strategy and I like Ruth's initiative. If they're going to jump passes, just dribble the ball right up the floor. Wide open Ruth, a little bit too far under the basket though, couldn't quite get the shot angle. Able to gather the ball again and get it to Ava, who does have the angle on it. 2 points for the Lady Cougars. Chris pulled 2 players up high to set a double screen on Morgan. Morgan has been doing a good job of aggravating whoever the ball handler is for the Wildcats. Ultimately generates another turnover on a travel, but once again, ball comes back down and is thrown out of bounds. So The travel woes for Crisp and the errant passes for Grace continue. Smartly defended by Ruth there, able to challenge it vertically, no foul, but make it a very difficult shot. Ball goes out of bounds, but it will be staying here. Good reflexes by Ruth. I felt pretty confident there when I was watching it happen that number 4 was going to slip behind her wide open, but Ruth was able to react just in the nick of time and tip it out, prevent an easy bucket. Crisp comes barreling into the lane as number 5, but as with every other layup she's had this game, it's way too strong and bounces off the backboard. Tie ball comes out of that, which is Cougar possession. Turnover leading to a layup there for Crisp. They are back in that full court pressure. Vulnerable on the backside of that. Ruth is able to get a shot up, but it's tipped away in her effort to recapture the ball, though she ends up fouling Crisp player who had already gathered the ball. While barely able to avoid the pressure the first time and then cough it up the second time. Bad pass followed by travel, followed by bad pass, followed by travel. I made the comment earlier, half joking, but it really does seem to be continuing on a loop. Ball was bouncing around rather chaotically there. Laney just decided that she would take the opening she had and shoot a shot. Ended up wedging the basketball in there between the rim and the board. Ultimately, unfortunately, that does count as a turnover, so it's going to be going the other direction. Number 1 for Crisp took it strong to the basket, was able to absorb the contact and make the layup. It looked like Kara initially had her hand on top of the ball in a good position to make the defensive stop. Number 1 just ripped right through that, though, getting the foul and the bucket. Cougars still scrambling to handle the variety of pressure that keeps getting placed on them. Wide open shot by Laney. Again, no good. And a bad pass by Crisp. Well, that mixes up the story a little bit. The game is very fast and loose right now for both sides. Looked like a quick timeout call on behalf of Crisp's coach. Going to bail them out, allow them to maintain possession down at this end. I've yet to see it this year with my own eyes, but I haven't been to every game. But if the Lady Cougars have any kind of half-court trap or full-court pressure, it's about that time that they start using it. With the number of turnovers that Crisp has been giving up and their struggles with making fast break layups, it would almost be worth going with an all-out full-court press just to see if you can bring the chaos to a peak here. The same old is not going to give us enough time to claw our way out of this hole that's currently being dug. It's not impossible, but we just need something in the game to change. Good pump fake and shot by Ava. That's 2 points right at the free throw line. Outside of layups, it's very hard to get a much better shot than that. The referee's going to say the ball was tipped out of bounds on Laney, so it's going to stay down at this end. Nobody curling to the basket on that one, just a simple inbound to a post player. All right, for half a second, I expected that one to get called a travel, but they say that we had a hand on top of the ball, therefore making it a tie ball. Is our ball on the arrow anyway. Quick passes and using the middle of that zone pressure allows us to get up the court in an instant without any risk of a turnover. That was the way we should be handling this pressure from here on out if they stick with that particular full court press. That's a travel. Yep. Looks like in the half-court set, Crisp is going to elect to go man on this possession. Able to feed the ball into Ruth, who is double-teamed, but that leaves Ava wide open in the middle of the paint. Couldn't tell if that defender from behind got a little bit of the ball, the arm, or nothing at all, but it disrupted Ava's shot enough that she missed. Crisp constantly looking to roll somebody to the weak side block on offense. If this was a college or pro game, that pass would probably be a lob for a dunk every single time. Obviously, the girls on the floor aren't going to be jamming at home anytime soon, but it is getting them open layups. Cougars are going to have to do a better job of minding the cardinal rules of man defense, one of which is stay between your man and the basket at all times. If if you are trailing your man, you got to have your hands up and be right on their hip. We are giving far too much room to that person cutting to the weak side. As we get ready for the fourth quarter to begin, the Cougars are down by 17. It is a large number, but Crisp has been committing turnover after turnover and does not have a very high shooting percentage tonight either. If the Cougars can simply get in a rhythm, get a few balls to fall like that one, there is still a little bit of life left in us. We just have to make these first couple minutes count. There's no way we can come back and win this game if we do not make a quick start to this quarter. That three-pointer was the right way to start, followed by a steal and a trip down to the other end. Layup denied, but it'll end up with free throws for Lainey Gay. All right, using the backboard on the free throw, makes the first. Next one was a little bit softer, but it missed to the right. Still, Lainey Gay able to take back 4 points within rapid succession there. 30 seconds, 4 points might not be good enough, but that is exactly what we need to be doing for the rest of this quarter in order to have a chance of being in it at the end. Deficit was cut to 13. We do need to handle the pressure once again, that 2-2-1 pressure coming. We've seen it enough times and we've beaten it enough times that we should be able to do it fairly quickly. Looks like Kara Overman just bobbled the ball there, didn't ever really fully control it once it got into her hands. Not sure that was necessarily forced by the defense. That was just an unfortunate turnover there. Taller post player for Crisp, able to get an easy post up. Kara a little bit out of control there, unable to control the ball as she tried to split defenders. Too many hands in there. Ball poked away and taken. Deflected shot, straight into the hands of Kara. Gets it back. Ball tipped, but landing in the hands of Morgan, who is trying to find some space. Unable to see much of the floor there. Threw it where she hoped Lainey could get to it. Barely missed her, but Ruth is able to recover it, get the ball to Lainey anyway. Ball batted around. Good, strong fight there for the ball as it was headed out of bounds, but looks like Lainey's going to get called for the travel there. Smart move by Morgan there, trapped on the sideline, nowhere to go, sandwiched between two players. Decides to just throw it off of their legs and take the ball back on an inbounds. Crisp drops out of the pressure. Looks like they might have switched back into their man defense again. Too much time has begun to waste in between opportunities for the Cougars. We did a good job coming out aggressive at the beginning of the fourth quarter, but we need to get the ball back and need to at least get a shot attempt in the next few seconds here. Instead, we are giving up those rebounds to the offense, not getting our defensive rebounds. Lucky to get bailed out with a quick foul there. Need to get the ball inbounded. Need to get up the floor safely. Ball deflected, recovered, and then finally moved up the floor. Ava had 3 people in her vicinity trying to pass out of that. Unable to. Foul called, number 23 for Crisp. Looked like he called it on the floor, denying that she was getting into the motion to shoot. Substituting guard for guard as we try to break pressure here. Air ball. Ruth going very strong towards this sideline, causing one to attempt bumping her out, but she does get called for that push foul. It'll stay our ball. Crisp dropping back into a zone. Looks like they're back in that 2-3 of sorts where middle of the post just shadows Ruth. It was unfortunately successful. Ball coming back the other way. I think that might have been the 5th foul on Ruth. I did not. Okay, there we go. Now they're signaling it. It was indeed the 5th foul on Ruth. In the future, Ruth being used as the major offensive weapon is going to cause other teams to do exactly what Crisp had in the plan tonight, which was attack her when she's on defense. If they can get her into foul trouble, they can get her on the bench and therefore not able to score. The guards at Grace are going to have to do a better job of insulating Ruth from that kind of danger by denying that pass. They're going to have to help make sure that the pass to the low block doesn't get there, being much more active in those passing lanes and challenging the ball a lot higher up at the top of the key than they currently do. When you allow the opposing guards to stand back and kind of observe the whole floor, you're just asking them for them to find the pass that they want, and the pass they want is whoever can draw contact from Ruth. Looks like a lot of the air has come out of the tires here, with the Cougars kind of slowing down, and when they're on offense of all places. Not sure what Coach Sarah was challenging there. That was definitely a push on the person shooting a layup at this end. She might be upset about the way we were treated down on our end. Basket was good, so it'll be only one free throw. Cougars not sending down enough rebounders to secure the ball. I'm going to have to go back and look at the tape. I am unsure of what we were trying to do with that particular chain of events. Crisp falling back, settling in a zone. Quick perimeter passes, followed by a deep shot, would not be a bad strategy. I've yet to see a Cougar take a three, I think, this game. If you've got it in you, now would be the time. Cougars do put a full 4 rebounders on the free throw this time. First shot was no good, but second shot was. Would have allowed for the Crisp to set up their pressure, but they have the subs in and they are content to just play really aggressively in a half-court set. It has been successful. There's really no reason for them to do anything different. That would be a good time to shoot the three, and she does. Looked like she was a step further back than she would have liked and threw it a little bit too hard to compensate. Still, I like the overall decision. All right, Grace is going to empty the bench and make sure they get all their subs in now with 2:11 left, and Crisp having double the points. There really is no way to bring it back now. A little bit of confusion about who's supposed to be on the floor for the Cougars. We got 6 people out here. Okay. Starters were unsure of who was staying. Looks like it's just going to be Morgan remaining on the floor. Shot attempt by Morgan, no good. Cougars turn it over on the rebound, but Crisp can't handle the long pass, and it's just going to be coming right back to us. Good open look by Skyla. No bucket, but she does not get very many opportunities to shoot in game, so it was a good looking rep. Would have been nice to walk away with those points. Maybe she'll get another attempt here in the final minute. Lindsay firing up a shot. Hit iron and missed. Crisp looking to move quickly, trying to get points down at the other end, and they do. Grace simply way too slow reacting on defense. Essentially fresh legs for both teams. Crisp much more aggressive running out after they get that ball back. Defenders not so much. Cougars were there that time. And that'll do it for the night. Score 54-24. Cougars reaching the end of the season, still looking for answers to the questions that have plagued them since the season began with this rebuild is who would take the leadership roles, who would make sure that the ball was in the right spot at the right time, and who would ultimately generate points. We have a partial answer in Ruth, but we're still looking for the rest of the picture to come together. Hopefully we can learn enough lessons going into the final third of this season that we can make a quicker start of things next season. All right, tonight's second matchup, boys varsity team. Crisp Academy Wildcats facing off against our GCA Cougars, getting ready to begin.
Number 14, thanks to. Number 13, Henry Lee. Number 3, Tadero Evans. Number 11, senior Jacob Elkins. And number 2, senior Luke Boyette.
All right, this is a region matchup between Crisp Academy and Yard Grace Christian Academy Cougars. This is their second meeting this season. First meeting did go our way, but only just barely. We currently lead the region with a record of 4-1. We are holding on to first spot ever so tentatively. Westwood is immediately behind us, and we are currently outranking them simply because we've played one more region game than them. If they win their next region game, they would push ahead of us. Of course, winning all of them the rest of the way out is a good way to legitimize that first place position we currently hold, which is exactly what's on the Cougars' minds tonight. Crisp, on the other hand, is struggling in region play, currently ranked 4 out of 5. Their region record is 2-3, but again, our last contest with them went kind of down to the wire, and it looks like they've had that happen more than once this year. So it's not that they're out of it in any given play, or any given game, I should say. They just seem to be narrowly losing ones that they should get. All that said, this is anybody's game who wants it, and being a home game for the Cougars, I'm very optimistic that they can pull this off. Okay. All right, well, for anybody who missed the audio, I was just saying that this is a region game and that we are currently in the first place in the region, and we won our last contest against Crisp. Now you've been fully caught up. We just need to win this one and maintain that position in first place. Cougars looking to swing the ball around against this zone, trying to get Crisp to move and open something up. It was an open 3. It was a fairly settled 3, not rushed. I don't feel bad about that one at all. I know if you listen to me on the mic every time we do this, it might sound like I'm allergic to 3s. I don't mind them if it's the right shot, taken by the right person, which that one was. It just didn't go in. However, following trip up the floor, we're going to get to Darryl shooting free throws. All right, first one hit the front and back of the rim before deciding it was not going to give Tadero the bounce. Second one, though, is good. Cougars draw first blood and score first. It is the smallest lead you can possibly have, though, at 1-0. Crisp got away with several jump passes there. Yeah, I would like to see Cougars attempting to be more aggressive at stealing those passes. If you can get a offensive player jumping in the air looking for a pass to make, they have no choice but to throw it. So you can be as aggressive as you want to be challenging that pass without the worry of them pump faking you. That time Henry drives in from the perimeter and gets a nice baseline floater to go. Good active hands by Jacob. That's what we saw a lot of against Fullington here. Three-pointer, no good. Ball bounces around right into the hands of Luke under the basket. That's an automatic 2 points every single time. Cougars are in a 1-3-1 zone defense. Not being particularly aggressive out of it, but generating the turnover nonetheless. Looks like Crisp is going to return with the same 2-2-1 press that their girls were running. That one man who is left underneath the basket has got a tough job. They have to be one of your quicker big men so that they can sprint from corner to corner. That time the big man could not get out there in time and were able to drain a corner three with very, very little contest put up by the defense. It is now 8-0 starting off. However, I do want to exercise caution here. We have gotten early leads in recent games before, only to end up making the game more challenging on ourselves than we needed to. So hopefully we can maintain and build on this momentum. Cougars have Jacob greeting the ball as it crosses half court, clearly looking to make the dribbler uncomfortable as early as possible. The sooner you can get an offensive team scrambling, better the odds of them eventually making a bad pass. That time, the ball found its way into the hands of number 3, who shot a very nice three-pointer. Contested, but not to the point where it could deny the shot. I don't know what happened there. Henry looked like he was kind of smiling. I don't know whether he got blocked or whether the ball just slipped out of his hand. In either case, that was not what he intended to happen. Good post play by number 42 for Crisp. Nice little turnaround shot. Able to get a couple more points for Crisp. Despite having a couple of good-looking offensive possessions, though, Crisp has yet to be able to put together a really good defensive possession, which is allowing for the Cougars to continue scoring points. It's now 10-5, so it's not a runaway, but it's going to be hard for Crisp to come back if they just want to trade shots with the Cougars after allowing them to start off with the lead. Good decision by Jacob to kind of hezzy on the perimeter and make them think he was pulling up for a ill-advised three. He doesn't. He drives to the basket, just can't quite complete it. It would have been a tough look. This time he's able to get a wide-open layup and actually complete it off of that outlet pass. I think Luke might have been able to get a piece of that shot, which caused it to air ball, but it fell right into the hands of a waiting Crisp player. Easy putback for them. Sometimes there's nothing you can do to help those tipped passes. They just land where they land. All right, that shot was a miss. Offensive rebound, no joy. It's going to come back this other direction. Again, a jumping pass for Crisp. Wow, I can't get the words out of my mouth before they do it again. Cougars are going to have to start recognizing that a player is in the air and jump into any passing lane they see. You cannot allow another team to get away with passing from such a vulnerable position. Luke decided to take a temperature check shot there just to see if he was feeling like Steph Curry tonight. It did not fall. Transition is going to lead to a foul from Jacob down at our end and 2 free throws for Crisp. The lead has narrowed as the Cougars have started to struggle to find consistent offense. They're finding it in fits and bursts here, but they're not able to sustain it in a way that can really build a good lead and build on that separation. Chris can have this cut down to a 1-point lead again if they make this second free throw attempt. And they do. Tougher defense, specifically on jump passes, and something a little bit more consistent and reliable coming from the offensive end going to be required here. Luke got too far under the basket. He was trying to work that baseline to his advantage and come up from underneath the rim. Got caught underneath the backboard, though, instead, a little bit deeper than he wanted. One thing led to another. Jacob gets the ball and is going to be shooting free throws. Looks like the sub coming in for the Cougars will be coming in for the shooter. It looked like that was a violation. Jumping into the lane a little bit early there, distracting Jacob's shot. So we will get another shot at that missed free throw. Can't really fault him for missing that one, though, with a player jumping in front of his face. All right, second attempt without interference is good. Lilo is going to come in. Jacob's going to come off for just a moment there. Lilo has not gotten very many opportunities to show himself this year, recovering from a knee injury sustained during football. Healthy now and looking to make an impact on the team. Turnover by Crisp. Kind of an unforced error there, I think. That possession came up empty, but I was very pleased to see that we had multiple Cougars at some point cutting through the paint, giving more options than just standing around the perimeter. There we go. Player got himself into a vulnerable position, and the pass is taken away. That is what I would like to see a whole lot more of. Lilo gets 2 points on that takeaway. He does have a little bit of speed, and before he hurt his knee, he had a fair bit of elevation as well. He kind of went safe with just an easy layup on that one. Would have been nice to see him dunk the ball, but I can certainly understand wanting to be cautious coming back. His knee's probably not up to full strength yet. All right, that three was airballed, which made it very, very difficult to corral for Luke. It is difficult to explain to somebody who's never played before just how awkward it can be trying to rebound an air ball. It just comes at an unnatural angle, something you're not ready for. Very hard to get your hands on and absolutely control, especially with other people around you. Quick ball movement by Crisp. Another contribution by Lilo under the basket as he gets a tip block. However, once again, like I was saying before, once you tip the ball, it's going to go in an unpredictable direction, and this time it just fell into the hands of another Crisp player who was able to put it back. Cougars are still leading by 3. I think the shot clock is off for this one, so they have the option to hold or push the pace and go for 2. Looks like they were going to push the pace, ended up turning the ball over, though, on a travel. So it's going to be Crisp's decision on who has the last shot. They can either hold it and hope to delay until the last minute. With the Cougars sinking back into a 2-3, makes it possible for Crisp to delay without any real pressure up high. Ball gets deflected out. Crisp will get a chance to inbound. With 4 seconds left, you have to figure a quick play off the inbound. Yep. Does not fall for them. dangerous challenge by Matthew on that three-point attempt, but the referees ruled that he did not release the ball until after the horn had sounded, so no shot, no foul. Cougars do go into the first quarter break up by 3. All right, crisp ball to start the second quarter. Cougars sticking with a 2-3. It looks like, yes. Oh, I was about to say it looked like number 3 got away with a travel, but he did not. The whistle was there. It just hesitated there just for a second, but referee does make the right call there. Going to be a turnover. Ball is now in our possession. They're in a matching 2-3 on this end, so it's going to come down to who can work against the zone the best. Solid passing there on behalf of the Cougars. Gets the ball to Lilo on the low block. He had an easy bucket. It was challenged from behind, ultimately resulting in a foul, so he gets to shoot a couple of free throws. First one falls. Second one does not, but Darrell skies up for the rebound, tipping it out to himself and recovering it. Good quick movement by the Cougars. However, bad pass results in a turnover coming back down this way. Well, Lilo, bit on the pump fake, but he got high enough in the shooter's face to cause him to panic and travel as he did it. Much more reasonable three-point shot by Luke. Definitely within his range on that one, able to complete it successfully. Had his feet set. It was a good look at the basket. It was the right one to take. 42, the larger post player on behalf of Crisp, seems to be the focus of a lot of their offensive possessions. He seems to have a very soft touch on the ball. Cougars are going to have to do a fair job against him. Really respect number 3's threes and 42's post abilities. I haven't seen much play coming from any other spot on the floor from Crisp, but those two players can and will hurt you if you lose sight of them. Cougars do a good job on defense that possession, and Darrell is off to the races again. Looks like there was a call on the floor, so it's going to be our ball, but no shot. Luke doing a good job of penetrating and kicking the ball out. Shot doesn't fall. Three looking like he wants another shot, but didn't want to take one that was contested. 12 has no problem taking a contested shot, though, and misses. Ball gets tipped around a little bit, resulting in a push from number 10 on Crisp, so it is our ball after the foul. Darrell takes a seat. Jacob comes back in. Good turnaround shot from Luke from about the mid post. Another shot that I like him taking. if he's in the mid-range or closer, he can easily create for himself as well as pass the ball from those positions. And as long as his feet are set on a 3, he can be dangerous from all levels. Really only falls into a trap when he's trying to do too much too fast. But that doesn't seem to be the problem tonight. Very much playing within himself and doing a very good job of it. In fact, the entire Cougar team seems to be playing a much more mature game tonight than we've seen a few times in the past. The game against Fullington was very, very exciting, but it was a run and gun contest from the word go. This one, though, has a very even pacing to it, and it looks like those early struggles where we were kind of getting off to fits and starts has evened out, where we're able to get the ball where we want it and take a shot we want. As a result, you've seen the lead extend. It's now 26-13 with the Cougars doubling up Crisp Academy's score. All right, same lineup comes out of the timeout for the Cougars. Looks like most, if not all, of the same lineup comes back out for Crisp as well. So no personnel changes. Let's see what's changed. Cougars did change back to that 1-3-1, trying to generate a little bit of pressure. Lilo does, but he's able to swat it, just not able to steal it. Ditto goes for Jacob on the inbound pass, able to swat it but not steal it. Active hands in the passing lane is bound to pay off here shortly, though. Ooh, number 12 got away with shuffling his feet before dribbling on that one. Jacob unable to corral a high and awkward rebound. It is going to go out of bounds and stay at this end. Very awkward pass inbounds there. Henry saw exactly what he wanted. He saw an opportunity to steal a pass coming out of a trapped corner position. Offensive player just got his body in position first and drew the foul. Three's able to pump fake Matthew out of position. Misses the 3. All right, momentary disagreement between the refs on who the ball was out on, but the ref closest to me on the crow's nest saw that it deflected off of a Crisp player. Ball came down our way. Lilo got a pretty open mid-range jumper. It was a little bit too strong. Cougars are very high extended there with Henry coming out to meet the ball. Extra steps there on that shot attempt by Crisp. Going to be our ball again coming back down. Crisp staying in that 2-3, not coming out of it. Once again, Luke is able to get into the mid to higher post area and do a turnaround jumper. If he's feeling that shot, there's really very little you can do. He's strong enough and long enough that he can muscle you back and shoot over the top of you in the same process. Crisp is able to respond by getting 2 points down at this end. Henry smartly going for the short corner shot that time, realizing that they're giving him so much space he doesn't have to sit on the three-point line. He can come in and take a closer one, which does go in for him. Ooh, a very, very tough pass to handle there. Number 42 passing the ball underneath the basket, put a little too much heat on it. His own player could not control that one. It's going to be our ball. Once again, Luke looked to attack the baseline. But the pass that was, I believe, intended for Tadero, just not on the mark. Very much like that shot, which does land in the hands of Tadero, who is very quick, able to take a couple of dribbles and still get the pass ahead to Jacob before the defense could get set. Jacob did a great job of getting out early, and Tadero did a great job of getting in position to make that pass. 1-3-1 just got exposed there for the Cougars. That is something that they need to patch up there. Whoever is on the weak side of that 1-3-1 has to drop down low and make sure that the block is protected, because the weak side block is the weak spot on a 1-3-1. If everybody stays high looking for the steal, you just give up layups. Of course, none of that matters if Jacob just takes the ball away up top. That was a fairly good look at a three there for Crisp. Just does not get anywhere near the basket. Ball pushed up by the Cougars, but tapped out of bounds. Nobody challenged from Crisp on that three by Jacob. He was a little bit deeper than he had to be. Probably could have stepped right up to the line and still taken it just as slow as he did. Nice leisurely shot. Crisp responds down at this end by going for a higher percentage post shot, getting it and drawing a foul. Going to be shooting one shot for number 42. Chasing number 3 off the three-point line seems to be very doable, as Jacob comes down this end and gets his own and one. As I was saying, chasing number 3 off the three-point line feels very doable for the Cougars. Right now, an extra effort put on making sure 42 doesn't touch the ball, and I think they can completely shut Crisp down. No reason to let them hang around in this game if we can take away their two main scorers. Right now, we've done a pretty decent job of taking away one. We just got to get the other one corralled. Still got 12 seconds in the shot clock. Cougars looked like they were getting antsy with how long the offense was taking to develop. We ended up shooting a more difficult shot than we had to, though. Still had time to work a few more passes, looking for a better opportunity. Matthew able to get a steal there. Had a hard time getting his hands on it, but he ends up getting pushed by the Crisp player, so steal's going to count there. All right, because we are at 5 fouls for the quarter, Matthew is going to need to come in and shoot the 2 free throws. Banks was coming in to sub for him, but he's going to have to wait until the end of the second shot now to try and get in the game. First one, no good for Matthew. If he hits the second one, Banks will come in immediately. Otherwise, it'll have to wait until a dead ball. He does hit the first one, so we are going to have a sub. Oh, we got a lane violation there on that rebound attempt. Looks like it was against maybe Tadero, waving off the free throw that was good, so no point. Number 3 navigating through the pressure, but because there was so much pressure, he's having to pass it to somebody, and right now, if it's not 42, it just doesn't seem to be working for Crisp. See a little bit of frustration on 3's face as he knows all he can do is get the ball into play in that situation, and he did, but he had to watch his teammate travel with the ball. Luke is able to get to the basket, make a very tough finger roll, no good. Second shot attempt, also no good. That one off of number 14 for Crisp is going to stay in our possession. Good job fighting for the ball from Lilo. Able to make that happen just by sheer aggression there and just playing the ball very, very hard. Luke didn't really get the elevation that he's used to right there. I don't know if he's fatigued or if it was just an awkward kind of bunny hop into that one, but he ended up getting blocked down low. Crisp struggling for offense right now. Number 3 taking it all the way to the rim, no good. 10 with a putback. 5 seconds left on the clock. Oh man, that one would have been a nice one to have just because of how pretty the effort was. To Darrell able to rush the ball up to Banks, who took a kind of sideways leaning shot at the baseline, but no good. We are going to take a lead into halftime, though. It is 38-21, Cougars with the advantage. It does seem like home wins have been harder to come by this year. I looked at our record earlier, and I did not write it down. I don't have it right in front of me. But we actually had a better win percentage on the road than we did at home going into these last couple home games. It is nice to see that that is finally turning around, and we are beginning to stack together some wins, or at least right now it looks that way. Can't count on this too soon, but it does look to be headed in the right direction. All right, we'll be stepping away for just a few minutes during halftime, and I'll rejoin you on the mic once we get set to start the third quarter.
This would be a good time to remind everyone that we'll be live streaming again on February the 3rd. That'll be senior night, so be sure to tune into that if you can't make it here live. But if you would like to help us out right now, you can give us a shout out on your social media, whether that's Facebook or YouTube or anything like that. And just let everybody know that we're live streaming these games as much as we possibly can.
All right, welcome back. Hope you're still with us. We're about to start the third quarter. Cougars have a 17-point lead going into this half. Should be in the driver's seat from here on out as long as they play within themselves and have a smart game. Able to get the ball in to Luke. Mid-post. Looks like he drugged that foot a little too far on that pump fake. Got called for the travel. Crisp looking to and getting the ball in the hands of number 3 in the corner. Having him start without the ball kind of makes him a more difficult target to find for the Cougars. It's very easy to stop the dribbler from shooting a 3. It's a little bit more difficult when that guy is running around free, hiding in corners. If that's going to be a new strategy that Crisp employs for the second half, Cougars are going to have to make that adjustment and mentally be aware of where number 3 is at all times. Good decision by Luke there. They've been giving him that baseline, and it hasn't really been working out for him all that well tonight. This time he saw what they were doing and made a better pass out of it. Jacob getting crafty down at this end. Nice move to the basket as he scores a layup. Cougars still playing with high tempo, high energy. Number 3 is back to dribbling the ball at the top. That's good for the Cougars. Easy to mark him that way. He takes the deep one, unable to get anything closer. It was kind of an unexpected deep shot. I'm not sure any of the Cougars were ready for that rebound, and the putback for Crisp is good. Ball comes back down the other direction. Jacob went with a floater at the last second there. It did look good, just did not fall in. Number 3 wide open again. Lucky to have that one miss. We cannot allow him to shoot shots where he is not contested. Number 3 has had several missed baskets tonight, which have been very fortunate for us. He, in years past, I haven't watched him many this year, but in years past he has been a little bit streaky where he can hit 10 in a row or miss 10 in a row. But if he gets hot, he can be very, very dangerous and put up a lot of points in a very short time. So we've been getting very lucky with a lot of those misses tonight. Number 11 tried to go for a quick 3 and got blocked. Pass up the court to Jacob ends in a successful layup. You know, teams have two options when they start the half with a lead. Either they can slow it down, look to be methodical and just end the game with what they got, or they can decide to step on the gas and try to put the other team out of contention. It's very obvious what the Cougars' plan here is. They plan to attack as much as they can in this third quarter and just make this completely unreachable for Crisp. Crisp, to their credit, not going away just yet. Loose ball on the ground. Hard to contest by both players. Both slow getting up. They put in so much effort into trying to get that ball. They were well and truly out of that play. Banks able to come down just in time to get the rebound. Jacob leading with his off shoulder, able to draw that contact on the body as he went up for the shot. That shot did look intended to draw more contact than just an honest layup would have, and it worked. He was able to draw the contact. The defender bit on it. First free throw, no good. Gonna have to get the second one to walk away with points. It was. Kudos to Crisp on that one. Got to give them their props when due. That was good ball movement, resulting in a wide open shot from straight in front of the basket. You don't get much better looks than that one. Cougars are going to have to do a better job of securing them on defense. Quick hands by Jacob, almost getting a turnover. Deflection by Jacob, followed by a deflection by Tadero. Hands have been in the passing lane tonight. Number 3 able to drive and dish to an unmarked player under the basket, resulting in Crisp getting a layup. Oh, Tadero looked to make a quick move and just lost his footing. Absolutely slid to the ground there like he was on ice. Fortunate for the ball to go out, tipped off of a Crisp player, though. We do get to maintain possession, which gives us a quick 3 by Banks on the inbound. He was stepping towards the basket, and it was uncontested. It was a good shot to take, just couldn't get it to fall. Cougars looking very sluggish right now. They came out looking to run at the beginning of the third quarter, and it's beginning to look like they might be running themselves out of gas. A couple more subs or a timeout to give them a breather might be in order here shortly. Luke able to use his strength in the post again, in that mid post, just muscling his way into the angle he wants, able to complete another bucket. Cougars need to communicate there. Lots of movement in the lane. I'm not seeing any mouths moving. I'm not hearing anybody calling out cutters. Fortunate not to be giving up more than we are right now. Ooh, dangerous play there. Hopefully everybody's okay. Tadero drew contact on his layup attempt, and then they got tangled up as they fell to the ground. Both players seem to be all right, though. Tadero's going to be getting a couple free throws. First one by Tadero is nothing but the bottom of the net. Good way to earn points and give the team that rest that I was just talking about. Also on that note, Jacobs getting subbed out. Caleb getting his first shot on the floor tonight. Tadero's good on both. Cougars still sticking with that 1-3-1. Not going to change up the defense just because they subbed in a couple players. Almost was able to get the trap. Number 3 being very quick to dribble and reverse course back out of it. They got a long pass out of it that they wanted, couldn't get a hand on it, but the second long pass were able to tip out of bounds. Caleb able to provide that spark up top. He is back and forth all over the place, bouncing between trap on one spot and then trapping on another spot. And still have fresh enough legs to come down to the other end and make a 3. Chris going to call a timeout there. Watching the Cougar lead build and sensing that it's a now or never time to break this momentum. If you're Crisp, you cannot allow this kind of momentum to continue for 2 more minutes. If you do, then the fourth quarter is all but over before it even begins. If you're Grace, you just have to find a way to manage and counter whatever the Crisp coach is coming up with. Because if you can keep a 20-plus point lead going into that fourth quarter, it allows you to really play whichever players you want to play and whatever style you want to play within reason and still come away with an easy win. Kind of the way I always processed a lead as a coach was a 10-point lead or less is not a lead at all. A 15-point lead is a lead, but it's not much of one. But once you get to 20, you're starting to stretch out to a point where, unless the other team can really come up with something miraculous, you've got to win. Tadero able to find Lilo under the basket. He fought to get out from under the hoop. He was a little bit too far under. Looks like he might have taken a hand to the face as he goes down the court. Looks like Banks got a little aggressive there, reached around a player, wrapping him up. Going to be Chris Ball down at this end. That's only the second foul of the third quarter for the Cougars. There's only been 5 fouls total in this quarter. Much fewer calls happening right now. Either the game is a whole lot cleaner or the referees have just decided to let this one finish up. I don't think the referees would do that this early though, so I guess we're just playing cleaner ball. Was a 3-pointer by Chris, which does chip into the lead just a tiny bit. Quick 3 from Luke is going to give Crisp another opportunity to dip into that lead a little bit. It's no longer a 20-point lead, so we don't want to trade missed 3s for made ones going into the final seconds here. Otherwise, we're going to be in a contest the fourth quarter, and nobody wants that. Number 3 was able to step into that shot, but he did have Banks's hand in his face, making it a difficult one. Luke got all the way to the basket. A little bit of contact there, just a little bit too much, unable to finish. Caleb being aggressive on defense, looked like he had his steal, thought he had one, but ultimately too much body contact between players is going to go against him. Ball trapped in the corner. Lucky for Crisp, they were able to keep that one. Got it into the post position where they had a height advantage. Number 11 just wasn't able to complete the shot, though, so it is going to be our ball. That foul is against Crisp, so it'll be staying with us. 16 seconds, 18-point lead. That shot was fired with a little bit too much time left on the clock. Crisp is going to get to decide. All right, we walk away without paying for that decision. I would have liked to have seen Luke have a little bit more clock awareness there and take that one down to the buzzer. Working in the paint, he can get what he wants when he wants. If he had just waited a few more seconds to make his move, we could have ended that quarter on our shot. But we do walk away without paying for it because they missed theirs on this end. So we'll be starting that fourth quarter with that 18-point lead I was talking about. It's not the 20-point lead, so I would not throw caution to the wind and just have fun yet. I'd like to see the Cougars come out and get a couple of unanswered baskets before they really start dipping deep into the bench or getting a little too loose with the play here. Fourth quarter is 8 minutes. That is a long time to hold on to a lead, especially if it's anything smaller than 20. It's going to be Chris Ball to start off with, so they're going to get the opportunity to set the tone for this fourth quarter. Banks able to steal the ball, but he was in a bad position falling out of bounds. Cougars are able to maintain possession after a wild pass. Oh my goodness, Darryl falls down, but has the body control to put up a shot, and it falls for him. That's a whole nother level of athleticism right there. Down at this end, it is a turnover on a travel, so Cougars get the ball back. Quick ball movement. Nobody really challenged Caleb on the three. It felt a little bit rushed, but if you're coming off the bench and nobody's going to guard you, you feel like you kind of have to take that one. It's too tempting not to. Especially if you've already made one in the game. All right, looks like that was a foul on a three-point attempt, so we're going to get a trio of free throws coming. Number 3 has a very good shooting touch. It's part of what makes him so dangerous from the three-point line. On the free throw line, you would expect him to be fairly consistent as well. So far, 2 for 2 with one more coming. Jacob coming back in the game. Josh Adams sitting down. Quick pass up the floor to an open corner three by Banks. He makes it. If you're going to take quick shots, you definitely want to make them in this position. You're playing with the lead, so the time is your friend. So get the buckets or waste the time. Either one works for you. The only way you can be back in a game is if you mess that up by doing neither. That was a fairly quick trip, but I don't want to mind it since it was attacking the basket. That's the kind of quick trip you're willing to risk. Back to the corner again. Jacob wasn't able to catch it cleanly. Didn't look like he was going to be open anyway. Luke is on the wing. Again, he's able to step forward, setting his feet, controlling his balance. That is a good shot for him to take. Exactly the kind of three he hits with consistency. Ooh. That was a fairly good looking shot attempt there by Crisp. That lead might be a little bit too big to cut into if Crisp doesn't begin playing tougher defense, although giving them an air ball, they don't have to play tough defense. They just have to catch the ball. We airball at our end, and number 10 scores a layup down at this end. It is a 20-point lead. We're still hovering around that same area. Haven't really stretched it, haven't lost it either. Banks able to get in down low. Looked like he had a size mismatch in the favor of the defender, but Banks was able to just move quickly and get up a nice shot. Point blank range. Easily scores. Number 12 kind of hesitated, didn't know what he wanted to do with the ball, and when he made up his mind, he traveled. Ball tipped, but thanks to Luke challenging that, we're able to get the ball back into the hands of Daryl. However, it looks like it was hard to control. Too many hands in there. Ball out of bounds. It's off of us, so it's just going to be Crisp ball again. Again, that weak side block left exposed. We've been so successful at challenging the passes and dribble up top that we've gotten a little bit careless around the basket. Tough basket by Luke. A little bit slapping the floor in frustration at the end of that one. I get the sense that he felt like he was working way too hard for that shot, taking way too much contact with no call from the referee, but he is able to eventually get the shot. Not sure what happened there. We had two Cougars in the same place. Neither one of them knew who the pass was intended for. Both of them let it sail out of bounds. Going to need to be smarter in the future with that. Somebody just needs to assume it's for them and grab it. All right, Luke's going to be sitting down. Don't know if we've seen the last of him for the night, but he's going to be taking a rest here. Lilo back in the game, playing the post down low. Riley also in the game, first time for him. Jacob able to square up on the rim. No real hand in his face, nobody making him move off of his spot. That's an easy shot for him to hit. Bailed out. The Wildcats were able to get the shot they wanted from that low block, which was again exposed. They just shuffled their feet in the process. Jacob is a shooter who can absolutely get hot from the perimeter, especially if you let him shoot in rhythm. If you're letting him step into that shot and take it exactly at the speed he wants to while having his body under control, he will make you pay for that. You cannot give him that shot if you're Crisp. Move him off of his spot. Give him a little bit of contact. You just can't let him step into that one. but I'm hoping they do. All right, number 3 able to draw contact again. Respect to number 3 for fighting until the end. He knows the score. He knows that the odds of catching up and winning the game are nil, but he has a fighting spirit and refuses to go down easy. And I like that in a player. All right. Once again, the 1-3-1 has everybody up high. 42 was all alone on that low block, but the ball was a little bit too far away to make that pass. Luke back into the game. Takes another shot. Again, they allow him to just comfortably step forward into a 3. Ooh, that was a nifty pass by number 3, getting number 10 another layup under the basket. Smooth looking assist there. It's not going to amount to much with the score being the way it is, though. With just over 2 minutes and a lead that cannot be lost at this point, it'll be interesting to see what Coach Chris does with the lineup here. You feel like he's going deep into the bench. He's just got to make sure everybody's communicated on where they're going to be and who their man is going to be, what their responsibilities are. You're playing with the bench on the floor all together at one time. Often that's a lineup that's not used to playing together in that particular arrangement, so communication is going to be key. Looks like we got 4 guards and 1 forward on the floor. So yes, communication is definitely going to be a key here. Everybody's going to have to know who goes where. Houston, open 3. Got a nice rainbow on that shot. When it finally did come back down to earth, it fell straight into the bucket. That was a good looking shot from him. Pulled up from the JV squad earlier this season to play with the varsity, and he made good on his attempt there. Ball coming back down in the hands of Riley, who passes out. Riley also had some contributions that were noteworthy on the JV team. Like to see him get an opportunity to shoot his shot in this game before the time's over. Maddox, quick feet and quick hands, just takes the ball away from number 20, bringing that back up. Feeding Matthew on the perimeter, not fully set. It was not a bad shot, but just didn't look like he had it fully under control. Couple of attempts here. Lots of contact, no call going into this final minute and change though, unless it looks like somebody's getting hurt or it's getting too rough. I feel like the referees are just gonna let this clock continue ticking. Matthew, the last of the starters or routine players out. Abram coming in, final sub. Chris turning the ball back over with 1 minute exactly left over. Going to give the assortment of Cougar players here on the floor an opportunity for somebody else to get one more shot, maybe a couple more. Abram's going to have it. Jumper was nice and soft, right off the rim though, no good. They get the ball right back to him. Drives in, gets to the layup, and scores. Maddox does not know that the game is over. Nobody tell him. He's still stealing the ball and getting it to his offense. Foul called as Abram attempted to drive into the lane. It's going to stay Cougar ball. Step up 3 there. off the rim, no good. There we go. I was waiting for Riley to get his points in here in this final minute. He does on that putback. Easy steal for Josh as they passed it straight to him. Unchallenged on his way, coast to coast with a layup. Well, looks like all of the bench there that was in the game at the end either got a score, a steal, or some combination of the two. Always a good game when you can watch those guys have fun. They work hard every day in practice. They do all the same suicides. They do all the same drills. They put in the same amount of effort. And they do it all knowing that they're mainly sharpening the star players so that they can perform at their best, so when they finally get their chance to shine, it is nice to see them have some fun. That game does end in a 30-point advantage for Grace Christian Academy. We get to win a home game, 82-52. This is 2 back-to-back strong home wins for us, both of which are region games. This is a very good rhythm to be in as we end the season here. We're going into the final stretch here. It's not quite over, but we're going to the final stretch of the regular season. Got a couple more region games left to go. One of them will be home against Highland. The other one will be, I believe, away. Forgetting exactly which team that is. I think it might be Westwood. I don't know. I'd have to look back at the schedule again. But we got a couple more to go. But we are in a good rhythm now, and this is the right time to be hot. Does it for tonight's broadcast. We hope you enjoyed, and we will catch you at the next home game.